Hey guys, Bombing Science here, and today we're going to compare the coverage of 6 different brands of paint and see how they fare. We're going to look at yellows in particular, which are often the hardest color to get to paint adequately. So do keep in mind that if the yellow doesn't cover well, that does mean the entire line of paint is not good. And we're going to compare with purple. We're going to cover them one on top of the other. We're going to see how well they cover the surface as a whole. And we're just going to test them out, see how they cover up the surface, if some are better than others, if they're all about the same. We're about to find out. This Belton yellow is looking fine. Belton's often a little bit translucent, which makes it really good for blending colors and for shading. But it does make it a little bit transparent by spot. I'm sure that if I went in with some touch-ups and just went spot by spot, it would be impeccable in no time, but really just to get a sense of how these paints fare, I'm really just doing one pass everywhere, universally, and giving them all a fair try. And I'm using a pink dot for every can. This purple is covering marvelously. No streaks, no nothing. It's just covering. So this is the Ironlak Basic Bumblebee Yellow, and it's covering relatively well. Again, I'm sure that if I went in with a second pass, it would be much more opaque. But for now, we're just checking out how they do with a single pass and giving them that harsh criticism. Now for the Ironlak Basic Royal Purple. The Ironlak Basic Purple covers really nicely. No complaints there. Alright, now we're going in with the Flame Orange, which is high pressure, and gonna brace myself to not go too slowly and see how it covers. This is the yellow, this is the Melon Yellow. The yellow cover is real nice. You can tell by the areas where there's been 2 layers that it's looking very opaque. I'm just doing one pass to give it a fair judgment compared to the other brands, but so far it seems to be covering as well as the other 2. Let's move on to the purple. So the Flame Orange is not as high pressured as I've gotten myself to believe. It's pretty manageable. And the purple again covers real nice. There's a few spots I wish I could cover up, so that's the one thing I'd say, is that the purple is not super opaque, but very much so still. Alright, now we're going to try out the Ironlak Yellow and see how it fares in the Battle of Yellows. I feel as though if any of these yellows are going to win the one coat contest, it'll be the Ironlak so far. There's still 2 more colors to test out, but this is looking pretty good. It still would very much benefit from a second layer, but it's looking pretty good for a single layer of yellow. Now we'll see how the purple fares. Purple looks great, no complaints there. So looks like a solid purple made by Ironlak. Now we're going to try the flame blue and see how the yellow covers on this more opaque surface. So far all of the paints have been needing at least 2 layers of the yellow, but maybe this one's different, who knows. This one looks great. You can see some areas where I passed twice and it looks very opaque, so it's looking good. These paints all look quite solid in terms of covering with the yellow, some a bit better than others, and we're probably going to do a second pass on them and see how they fare at that point. But so for now, with the one pass, it looks good. Yeah, this purple is great. It covers effortlessly. So far these are all great. I think the real thing that's going to separate them is how well they cover with the second layer of yellow. If any of them struggle at that point, that'll be a bad indicator. But these look fine. These all cover quite nicely. Alright, finally we're going to test out the covers all, see if it's any different, any better, any worse in terms of covering the yellow. And then we're going to have a cover test with the purple. Usually the purple covers quite nicely, so it's sort of just to give you a better idea of how the average color is going to cover. But yellow oranges are usually the roughest colors, so we're doing those just to give you an honest review of how well these cover. I'd say the coverall is the best coverage we've seen so far. It looks quite uniform and solid. I'd also say that with the coverall, it's quite breezy to fill in. It feels as though it, for me at least, goes at a good pace, so I don't feel like I need to go back on any lines. The paint is going at the pace that my hand was going at, so that's a nice bonus. Now let's try out the second layers of these yellows and see if they make any difference. So first of all, I'd say that the weakest colors we seem to have are the Ironlak and Ironlak Basic, but I do want to mention that they're using a more yellow, less orange yellow. So usually oranges are going to be a bit more opaque than yellow, so that is not working in their favor. And now we're going to go in with the second layer, see how the second layer fares. The coverall seems to be doing very well. Followed by the flame blue, followed by the Belton. And then I'm expecting to see them all, cover quite nicely with the second layer, but only one way to find out. And then we're also going to do some tests with the yellow over the purple and see how that covers the second color, because we've only seen it so far covering the primer. Alright, so there's the test. We did 2 layers on every layer of yellow and 1 layer of purple on each one. And I would say that the covers all covered the best out of all of them. However, I was surprised to find that when I did the streaks of yellow over the purple, the Ironlak seems to perform second best, which I didn't expect since it had a harder time covering when it was just the yellow over top. But all of these colors, all of these yellows, they cover very well, all things considered. You do have to keep in mind that yellow doesn't cover as well as a lot of other colors, but you won't be grossly disappointed by them either. They cover very well, they're good paints, and I was happy to find out that, you know, there's no hidden duds. So that's a good sign. Now I'm just gonna outline this big guy real quick, just for the fun of it. So you can get all the paints you saw today on our website in the link below. Don't forget to like our videos and subscribe if you want to see more, and leave us some comments if we missed anything or there's any reviews you want to see done. Thank you so much. Have a good one.